Good morning students. Welcome to our online video class of chemistry. Today we are going to start new chapter, metals and non-metals. Most of the things that we used in our daily life are made up of metals and also non-metals. In your lower class you had already learned about matter. What are the different classification of matter? Matter classified based on its physical and chemical properties. Based on chemical properties, it is classified as pure substance and mixtures. And pure substance again classified as elements and compounds. And elements based on its physical and chemical properties classified as three types. What are they? That are metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now we are going to study about physical properties of metals and non-metals. And one of the property of metal is its shiny appearance. It is luster. For an example, gold. This gold bangle, it is very shiny, is it? And one of the property of metal is it is luster. That means have shiny appearance. Is it as easy to cut the metals using a sharp knife? Suppose you are going to cut a piece of iron, gold, silver, aluminium and magnesium. You can observe that it is not easy to cut the metals easily using a sharp knife. Therefore, we can say metals are hard. And hardness of metal varies from metal to metal. And there is some exceptional cases. Sodium, potassium, lithium, such metals can be cut using knife. So they are soft metals.
Another property of metal is it is malleable because metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Metals are solid at room temperature, but there is one exceptional case, mercury. Mercury is liquid at room temperature. Another property of metal is ductility. Metals are ductile because metals can be drawn into thin wires. Do you know which metal is most ductile metal? It is gold because 1 gram of gold can be drawn into wire of about 2 kilometer length. There are a large number of applications for metals because of the properties such as malleability and ductility. For an example, sheets of iron, copper and aluminium are used in making utensils or vessels of different shapes. And silver foils are used for decorating sweets. And it is used for automobiles. Copper and aluminium wires are used for transmission of electricity. And the metals are used for making jewelries. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Silver is the best conductor of heat. Lead is poor conductor of heat. It is a metal. Among metals, lead is the poorest conductor of heat. Mercury is also a poor conductor of heat. And silver is also a good conductor of electricity. The order of electrical conductivity of different metals are given here. Silver is greater than copper, which is greater than gold, which is greater than aluminium, which is greater than tungsten, which is greater than mercury. That is, among metals, silver is the most good conductor of heat and electricity. Next property is metals are sonorous. That is, they produce sound on striking a hard surface. That is why metallic wires are used for making musical instruments. Metals have high density because atoms are closely packed in metals. But there is some exceptional cases. Lithium, sodium and potassium are metals but have low densities. Now we have learned about properties of metal. Metals are solids at room temperature, but mercury is liquid at room temperature. Metals are hard. Exceptional cases are lithium, sodium and potassium are soft metals. Metals are malleable and ductile. It is good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are luster. It is sonorous, have high melting point and boiling point. And what about non-metals? You have already learnt in your lower class about physical properties of non-metals. Let's recollect it. Can you say an example for non-metal? Carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, hydrogen, oxygen, krypton, argon, helium, chlorine, fluorine, diamond, graphite. All those are non-metals. Graphite and diamond are allotropic form of carbon. All the non-metals are solids or gaseous except bromine. Bromine, which is a liquid non-metal at room temperature. And the properties of non-metals. Non-metals are not malleable. That means the non-metals cannot be beaten into thin sheets with a hammer. For an example, sulfur and phosphorus are solid non-metals which are not malleable. They cannot be beaten into thin sheet. But they can be break into small pieces when beaten with hammer. That means they are brittle. Brittleness is a characteristic property of solid non-metal. And non-metals are not ductile. Non-metals cannot be drawn into wires. They are easily snapped on stretching. For example, sulfur and phosphorus are non-metals. They are not ductile. When stretched, sulfur or phosphorus break into pieces. They do not form wires. And non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Bad conductors of heat and electricity. Many of the non-metals are in fact insulators. Insulator means they do not conduct electricity. Non-metals do not allow heat and electricity to pass through them. For example, sulfur and phosphorus are non-metals which do not conduct heat or electricity. Diamond is non-metal which is good conductor of heat. And another form of carbon is graphite. It is a non-metal but it is good conductor of electricity. That are exceptional cases. It is allotropic form of carbon. And being a good conductor of electricity, graphite is used for making electrodes. As that in dry cell, the black electrode in the middle of dry cell, that is made up of graphite because graphite is good conductor of electricity. And non-metals are not luster. Luster means shiny appearance. It does not have shiny appearance. They have dull in appearance. Iron is a non-metal having luster appearance. Iron have luster appearance. It has shiny surface like that of metal. That is one exceptional case. And non-metals are generally soft, except diamond. Diamond is very hardest substance, hard non-metal, and most of are solids. The non-metals are not strong. They have low tensile strength. Non-metals may be solid, liquid, or gas at room temperature. What are the properties of non-metal? Non-metals are not luster. They have dull appearance. Exceptional case is iodine. Iodine is luster. And metals are not ductile and malleable, but they are brittle. And metals are not good conductors of electricity and heat. Exceptional cases are diamond and graphite. They have no the property of sonorous.